Thursday morning. While we're waiting for everybody to get in here, I'm in Maryland up above Baltimore, and it's been crazy stormy here, so lots of rain, and I love it. So I grew up in North Idaho, and I love the rain, and so I always open my windows when it rains because I want to hear it. I want to smell that air, whatever. That's just one of my quirks. I love the rain, you guys. It's so crazy. So these rainy cities are perfect for me. Good morning, Crafta. Good morning, Crafty. Good morning, Sarah. You guys, welcome in. I'm going to talk a little bit about insulin resistance today, but what I really want to talk about too is this system that helped me go from that picture on the left to the picture on the right and maintain that at 60 years old while having health and not causing more damage to my metabolic health with some of the medications that are out there. So we're going to dive in. I have some information about PCOS, a lot of information that I like to share, some information that I haven't talked about before. So hang on, because we're going to link it all back to insulin resistance and how this is at the root of most of our problems. I don't have my little list up today, but you guys, if you're suffering not just with PCOS, but men, erectile dysfunction and low testosterone, maybe you have migraine headaches, or you're gaining weight that you can't get rid of, or you are having diminishing eyesight, or your teeth and gums are bleeding, or you're having joint problems, or sleep apnea, or neuropathy, or swelling, all of this stuff, kidney issues, liver issues, all of it links back to insulin resistance. So much so that scientists are now saying that 95% of the diseases and disorders that we suffer from today that are lifestyle related are insulin resistance. So it's really important to know what is going on in your body with insulin resistance so you can know how to start feeling better. And that's why I'm here, because I really want to help. Now, I do help with a protocol that I use myself, which is 2 teas that I have in the morning and a pre-meal drink that I have before my meal with the biggest carbohydrates. I actually have more than 1 pre-meal drink a day. I'm going to go over some of the components of those that we haven't talked about before. That might be confusing for you guys on the label so that you can understand why they're there and what are they doing. But more importantly, I'm going to address how these have been able to help so many women who are suffering with PCOS get over their symptoms, actually start families, have normal periods, have less cramping and pain, get rid of the hair growth on the face and stop the hair loss on the head, which is one of the things I did. But just stop all of that by addressing this. Plus, of course, because it's metabolic, it's going to lead into why you're gaining weight and storing weight, and why how you can lose weight. So LJ, I saw your text last night. I am so glad that we got that worked out. I am so glad that they took care of you. So just full stop, you guys. LJ, I get it. She was so frustrated. She ordered, was excited, and I understand when I'm excited and I want something there, I want it there now, and I become a bear when it doesn't happen. Well, the shipping company screwed up and lost her stuff. She contacted me. I got a hold of customer service because there was some misunderstandings and they weren't being very kind to her apparently. But I got a hold of them and addressed the situation and was able to get new product out to her so that she could get started on the system that she's like biting at the chomp to get started at. So LJ, we should probably talk today. Let's do that and get you started. I'm so happy you got it. Like that just makes me so happy, you guys. But this is why you have a coach, you guys, so that we can help with those kind of issues that nobody else can seem to help with. And I like troubleshooting, so that's great. I mean, it's always uncomfortable for everyone involved, but I like that I got to help. And LJ is now started on the system, or going to start on the system. And then I look forward to her story with this, because she's just like, I'm just excited for you, girl. All right, so we want to talk about all things with insulin resistance, weight, PCOS, all of that. You guys, how did I get rid of all of this weight, get my joints back, all of that? We're going to talk about it. First, I want to talk about PCOS, because PCOS and heart issues are 2 of the biggest things that people ask me about. So let's revisit PCOS this morning, because many of you haven't heard me talk about it before. Let's first talk about insulin resistance. So you kind of have, I'm just going to kind of take a high flyby view of insulin resistance. So you have an idea why this weight is getting put on and why it's related to PCOS. Okay, we all good with that? Thank you guys for the loves. It's, man, can you guys see like how much the rain? It might be depressing to other people, but it makes me happy. I woke up happy. Yay! I love the coolness. I love the rain. I love, it's just always been my thing. All right, let's get into insulin resistance. Okay. So, what's happening with us today and why we're suffering with this? 93% of us are suffering with some type of metabolic disorder, and that is all rooted in this resistance to insulin. So, we're eating more often, we're eating foods that are processed, bagged, boxed, barcoded, but even our organic foods have been changed drastically from what they're supposed to be. Fibers and nutrients have been stripped out so that they're bigger and juicier and more delectable to you. We have a defunct food system. And that core of what we are as human beings, what we need, our energy needs, we need nutrition in our bodies, and yet it's being stripped away from us slowly and subversively, and we're just not aware that this has even happened. We didn't have this much metabolic disorder 50, 60 years ago like we do now. Genetics don't change that much in that short period of time. So what has changed? Our food has changed. Our food has changed dramatically over the last 50 years. And so now we're going to dive in. That's a different soapbox, Misha. Get on track. Okay. So we're eating too much. The food that we're eating is turning into glucose in our system. And what that really is energy. So our body needs energy. Every single cell in our body needs energy. And if it's not getting the energy in, we start to have problems. So what happens is we eat this food, it converts into glucose, which is the energy, and then the body is supposed to have these triggers where more than 1 teaspoon of that glucose in the system has you starting to need more insulin. And insulin is really just, insulin is the driver that helps. Why did I just lose that? It helps your insulin get the insulin helps to get the sugar into the blood vessels or out of the blood vessels and into the system. I'm trying to do two things at once, and this is not really working well for me. So let's try this again. Let's go back here and let's go. I lost my graphic, you guys. How did I do that? There it is. There we go. Okay, so now we're back. All right, so too much food too often increases glucose, which increases the need for insulin. All of that's amazing, and our body should do that, right? So insulin is the carrier, and it's got this locking key to the cell that says, hey, cell, I have a delivery for you. We're going to put this package in there. Now you're going to have energy. And the cell's like, yay, I needed energy. And it opens up and lets the insulin deliver the package. It's not the insulin that's important to get into the cell. It's the package it's carrying, which is energy in the form of glucose. But at some point, and insulin is knocking on the cell door too often because we're eating so much and so often that insulin just is like this on hyper speed, like a UPS or better yet, an Amazon driver, just like got a package, got a package, got a package. And so insulin is inundating these cells with these messages that they need energy. Some of the cells are becoming damaged because of this excess energy in the system, inflammation and oxidation. They shut down and start to become protective of the amount of energy that will go into the cell so that it doesn't further the damage. Other cells are just like, I'm just tired, I just can't do this. And they stop being receptive to insulin. Now, some cells will take in too much insulin, and that is the whole breadth of insulin resistance. Some cells taking up too much, some cells not taking up enough, and all the cells not getting the energy they're supposed to in the amount they're supposed to. And so we start to get sick. But on the other side of that, what happens when we have this going on is that we start to gain weight. We start to get to this point where we have all of that energy that can't go into other areas starts to go into our fat cells. Our fat cells then are our storage units. So the premise is that it's going into the fat cells and being stored for use at later date. Storage of insulin here, okay? Insulin more sensitive here, weight's coming off. Don't have all the excess belly fat, don't have all the excess everything because I'm getting insulin under control. And that's all it really takes. That excess fat is a function of metabolic overload where you're getting too much energy in. So you'll hear guys talk about calories in, calories out. I've talked about that a multitude of times. It's not so much the amount of calories, it's the ability to use the energy that matters, you guys. So intermittent fasting is not just about lowering calories, it's about managing that energy. Boy, I said I was going to make this quick, and here I am doing everything but. All right, so now in an insulin resistant state, we're storing fat, our cells are not getting in enough energy. Let's talk about PCOS and why this is linked to PCOS. Okay. So, one of the ways that the primary way I talk about is this: we have a cycle. Women, we have a cycle. We know that. At the beginning of the cycle, your estrogen levels are a little bit lower, and you're needing to produce eggs to be matured for fertilization. At this point, your body is saying, hey, there's this system, this way that our hormones are. Estrogen is low, all of this stuff. It starts putting out this, your brain starts putting out this hormone called follicle stimulating hormone. Now you release a few eggs so that they can mature, and hopefully one of them matures enough that it's viable to make a baby. That's the whole process. That's the whole reason for the process. As those eggs are maturing, as one starts to signal, hey, I'm ready, now estrogen levels should be rising a little bit, which should cue the brain to start um, releasing luteinizing hormone. And what luteinizing hormone does is goes in and says, hey, eggs that are not the one, good try, but you're not it. And so we're going to start to get rid of you or dissolve you. And it starts to get rid of those eggs, gets them out of the way, allows the one egg to start growing and maturing and doing its thing. And then it gets released. And if it's not fertilized, you now have a period and you start all over again. With insulin resistance, it starts to impede in a couple of ways. The primary way I talk about the most is this. In the ovaries, we're converting testosterone into estrogens, or androgens into estrogens. So estrione, estradiol. They're not just made as estrogens, they have to be made out of this testosterone. So in our ovaries, ladies, we have this thing called aromatase, and that's what helps convert. My video is frozen. It doesn't look frozen on this side. Is it still frozen, LJ? Hmm. Okay. So it doesn't, when we have PCOS, we're not getting enough aromatase to convert that testosterone into estrogen. Our brains are not getting the right signals to be able to convert and create that luteinizing hormone and stop the process. Now we have multiple eggs continuing to grow. And as they get past the age, like there's a tipping point with these eggs. They don't just continue to grow without fertilization. At some point, they start to die off. But because they haven't been dissipated, they start to land in the lining of your ovaries, causing little cysts, pockets of inflammation that are sitting in the ovaries from these eggs that were not gotten rid of. And that's the polycystic. And over time, month after month, this happens. Now you're getting multiple cysts in your ovaries, and it can be painful. And it's disrupting how and when your period happens. And it's making it difficult for you to have children. So that's the primary way. Insulin is directly inhibiting aromatase production in the ovaries. So getting the insulin under control, getting the body sensitive to insulin is key to this whole thing. Okay? Is it not, is it still hanging up over here, you guys? Huh. It might be an issue with TikTok. I don't know yet. I'm live on Facebook and YouTube, so head on over there if you're having problems. It's Brilliant Health with Misha. Brilliant Health with Misha on YouTube. You guys head on over there and we'll continue the conversation. I'll keep trying here on TikTok. Maybe I'll just stop the live and rejoin it, you guys. So if you want to join me on YouTube, please go join me there and we'll continue this conversation. If you're only on TikTok, I'm going to shut this live down and reopen it immediately to see if that helps, because it looks like it's live on this side. All right, you guys, we'll see you back in a second. Somehow there's a problem over on TikTok, so we're just trying to fix that, guys, and then I'll be right back to talking about insulin resistance and PCOS because there's a couple of things that I don't normally talk about that I would love to get out today. All right, I think I got this under control. Let's get back live on TikTok. Thank God for YouTube and Facebook right now. Thank God for that, right? Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, those of you who were joining me earlier, I know TikTok was screwing up, but look, we're talking about polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. Some people call it Pcos, but it's a disorder that affects women and their fertility. And it's painful. You can gain weight, you can have mood disorders, you can lose hair on your head, gain hair on your face. Acne is a part of it, all and just this painful, lengthy, drawn out periods and the inability to have children are some of the things going on with PCOS. I suffered with it back in my childbearing years, but doctors were not talking about PCOS, much less insulin resistance. And so I suffered. I always called my two children that I had immaculate conception because I was told I was never going to have kids, and somehow I managed to have two. But had we known about PCOS and insulin resistance back then, I would have done better, right? I wouldn't have had all of those sleepless nights crying because I couldn't have kids. And then there's some other things, you guys, when you're insulin resistant, since we're talking about that, my daughter is highly autistic and my son is on the spectrum. They're both high functioning and brilliant people. But what I found out recently is that me being diabetic, gestational diabetic, which is insulin resistance, during pregnancy, there's a link between women who are extremely diabetic and even the man, your sperm counts. If you're diabetic and starting a family, that situation going on in your body can affect your children when you conceive and as they grow. In conception, it's both mom and dad. As it grows, then mom, you got to take care of it. And if you're having diabetic problems, your children are more likely to be diabetic themselves, but they're also more likely to have things like autism or be on the spectrum. So, why are we seeing more of this? Because our lifestyle has changed and we're having problems with sugar and insulin. So, that's a little side track. If you're going to have children, get your insulin resistance under control, get your health healthy, and then have your kids. At that point in time, you guys, I was only like a buck 60 and I didn't know that there was anything wrong with me metabolically. It didn't show outwardly. I wasn't obese, I wasn't any of that, but there were internal cues that I was insulin resistant and PCOS being one of them. All right, so there's a couple of other ways that PCOS is affecting us and our fertility, ladies. So I talked about the testosterone not getting converted into estrogen at the right times for us to get clues. But the interesting thing is that this excess insulin, hey, good morning, Robert. It's been a while since I've seen you. But in this environment, our body's not only not utilizing testosterone to convert into estrogen, now we have low estrogen and higher testosterone, but our body's also producing excess testosterone. So Sharon, I agree with yoga, and Sharon Daly over on Facebook says, do yoga 30 minutes, 3 times a day. It does wonders for hormone balancing. So I know and I don't know about 3 times a day. Thank you for that tip, Sharon, but I absolutely agree with movement. And I don't think that women need to move like as voraciously as men do all the time. We don't have to be so masculine, and yoga is a perfect, gentle exercise for us. So thank you for that, Sharon. But look, so now we have too much testosterone. We don't have enough estrogen, and we have all of these problems going on, right? All cued by this excess insulin that's not getting the body the hormones it needs. And so that triggers something, Sharon. What I want people to understand on this live today too, there's all kinds of little things we can do. But what I want to do is address the one big root cause, and that is that we're just simply getting in too much glucose into our system because our food has been changed. And when we understand that the hormone insulin has precedence of taking care of what all the other hormones, the luteinizing hormone, the follicle stimulating hormone, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol, thyroid hormones, estrogen, testosterone. The one thing we can really do to massively impact our health is address that insulin. Because when we address the insulin, then all of these other hormones, the sex hormones, the thyroid hormones, the hunger and satiety hormones, the stress hormones all start to regulate back to more normal. So addressing insulin, and we'll talk about glucagon in a little bit. Glucagon dysregulation starts with insulin dysregulation, but those hormones have to be in balance for the rest of the hormones. Is important. So Sharon has a suggestion, and Sharon, thank you, because I will look her up. I've been looking for, I was a power lifter for years. You can tell in my body build that I was a power lifter, right? But I'm looking for more gentle ways to work out the 60-year-old woman body. I no longer need to be, sorry you guys for swearing, and I was watching some podcasts on this. I don't need to be that boss bitch anymore, right? I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of my family. I need to be fully in my feminine, and that means my movements look different. And thank you for saying that, Sharon. So she says, gentle yoga with Adrienne on YouTube, that she's so soothing, and I'm going to check her out. Thank you for that suggestion, because I'm always looking for, inspiring ways that we can exercise, especially as we age. You guys, that's super important. Okay, so insulin resistance, another way it's linking into or causing PCOS, is in the reduction of the sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG. So it decreases the production of this hormone, insulin resistance does, and it's a protein that binds to sex hormones and regulates their activity. So again, when we're talking about estrogen, testosterone, if we don't have the right amounts of the sex binding hormone globulin, a protein, then we have a dysregulation of hormones. And again, insulin is interfering with that, and that's causing a great deal of our metabolic disorders. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit. So we've talked about how it interferes with the transference of testosterone in your ovaries. We've talked about that it's creating too much testosterone. And then we've talked about how insulin resistance is causing this system where you're not getting enough of that sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, I don't know which one is harder to say, that allows you to utilize and produce those hormones efficiently. Okay, so that is all of this, not all of it, but that's a number of the ways that insulin resistance is linking into PCOS. Man, am I a mess today? I woke up. It's a rainy day, so it's a wild hair day. Okay, so what's happening with the system? Why is this working for so many people? Because people will get on and be like, oh yeah, they claim it's a miracle drug. I'm not claiming anything about miracles. I'm saying that we're addressing insulin, and this has been scientifically designed to address insulin. Through understanding the mechanisms of insulin, we can understand how to get better. So the two components in this, I'm going to start with the fiber, because if you know me, you know I'm a fiber nut. Behind me on the desk back here, I don't know if you can see that. Fiber fueled. I love learning about fiber and what it does for our gut. But this pre-meal drink is high in fibers, 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers. So they're helping slow down the absorption of sugar, which helps with the insulin resistance, which is then going to help with the hormone regulation. We're getting nutrients in that we're supposed to be getting that we're not, because our food has been so modified and changed. So it's helping with that blood sugar regulation, and that slowing down of blood sugars or carbohydrates helps stabilize the blood sugars, reducing a blood sugar spike by up to 37% when taken before a meal. And that obviously is going to help insulin resistance and PCOS if we understand that this dysregulation of sugar and insulin is the root cause. So this also gives you some satiety and helps you with appetite. One thing that I know with PCOS is with all this hormone dysregulation, you're hungry all the time. And so now it's worsening the problem. One of the big things we can do to help with PCOS is not just get the insulin resistance under control, but as a result, we have to understand that that excess weight comes from the excess insulin. So getting the weight off is extremely important. What is PCOS? LJ, polycystic ovarian syndrome. So we'll talk about this really briefly again. In the women's cycle, we have different stages in our cycle. A cycle where we're producing eggs in the ovary, a cycle where the eggs are starting to, or at least one egg is starting to mature, and then we get cues from the brain to produce a hormone to help get the other eggs out so that the one viable egg can take the spotlight. And then if that egg does not get fertilized, it drops off and we have a period. It requires a rise and fall of estrogen during that time, and the utilization of a hormone called aromatase. So if we don't have any of those going on, or we don't have all of that happening properly in our body, then we have a disruption, and those eggs that are supposed to be going away then actually fall into the lining of the ovaries and start to create cysts, which are very painful. And the disruption of the sex hormones means that the periods are not like every 28 days like they're supposed to be. They're sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 2 weeks, who knows, depending on what happens inside the body with insulin resistance. Oh, I'd love to see your before and after pictures, Sharon. And she says she's 51 and had to retrain her full gut 6 weeks ago. She feels amazing. She uses vitamin C patches. Okay, that's great. I'll look up vitamin C patches. I know that where I'm focused is just getting this insulin under control, but you guys look, I do vitamin C, I do omega 3s, I do calcium, magnesium, D3, K2. I support my body in getting the nutrients it needs to have. The system is the core, and then I address my particular needs with each one of those. And I am all about that. Okay. So I hope that answers PCOS. Now, all right. So then the Unimate. How is the Unimate helping with PCOS? Let's talk about that, because people want to know. They don't just want me to say, hey, insulin resistance causes this, do this system, it's going to get better. If you're like me, you want to know, why is it working? I mean, admittedly, at the beginning, I didn't care how it was working. I just cared that it would work because I was so sick. I just needed something. And so I dove, took a shot, which is somewhat normal of me, but not always. Okay. But it worked, right? It reversed all of my symptoms. Everything got better. And I was like, why? Why did this help me? And that's why I'm here talking to you guys today. So the Unimate is actually helps with mood and mental and physical energy. If you've had PCOS, if you suffer with polycystic ovarian syndrome, Pcos, what name they want to throw at you, you're suffering from energy as well. And one of the important things in having reduced hunger and better glucose utilization is just energy, getting your body moving and having the energy to live throughout the day, because that's shutting down with insulin resistance. This gives you physical energy, mental clarity, and it helps you. Does it help lower cortisol? Yes. Okay. So here's the thing with Savvy Mom. The entire system helps reduce cortisol by helping reduce inflammation and stress within the body and insulin resistance. The interesting thing, and thank you for the question, Savvy Mom, cortisol and insulin are very highly linked. So it's not just that high insulin increases cortisol, because it does. Insulin levels that are high all the time spike your cortisol levels slightly all the time. Now you're starting to have heart problems. Now you're having anxiety problems. Now you have a brain that won't shut down. Insulin resistance is causing a spike in cortisol. But we all know also, or we should know, that our lifestyle creates a spike in cortisol. So stresses, not getting enough sleep, being plugged into electronics all the time, all of that, the boss yelling at you, the kids screaming for stuff, traffic, all of this stuff raises our cortisol. When we have a rise in cortisol, spikes in cortisol, and it's consistent, that causes a rise in insulin resistance. So they're very much hand in hand. If you get the insulin under control and start addressing some of those lifestyle things, we can get the cortisol under control. And what happened for me was my cortisol was so out of whack that I had it tested multiple times, not in blood, but in saliva or urine because it gives a more complete picture of cortisol. You want your cortisol done with saliva or urine. Saliva is better for cortisol. And you're going to take it at 3 points during the day. Every time I had my cortisol tested, it was never in normal range. And doctors actually looked at me and said, I don't know, I don't even know how you're upright right now. I lived a life of forcing myself to wake up and get ready for work, waiting for lunch hour. So, not so that I could eat, but so that I could go pass out and sleep. And then I would pass out during my lunch hour, have to have an alarm to wake me up so I could get back in clinic and do the job I was supposed to do. And then I was training to be a world champion athlete. So then I would leave work, run to the gym, pass out there for a little bit till I had enough energy to go in, do my workout, take a shower, go to my second job at the time. And I was like in this high cortisol level all the time. I did not know that it wasn't just my lifestyle, but that it was this high level of insulin resistance that was causing this cortisol dysregulation that was costing me my energy and just making life so much harder. It was just hard to get to my jobs, get that workout in, much less do anything else. The rest of the time, I just wanted to sit on the couch and sleep. I was tired, like supremely tired. It wasn't like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm tired. That happens too. But it was just like I couldn't explain to people. Like from the inside out, it just felt like all the energy left my body. And that feeling was real because what my body was telling me is that my cells were not able to get in energy. That feeling of being depleted from the inside out was real because that was my cells screaming that they needed energy and couldn't get it in because they were resistant to insulin. So our body has two sources of fuel, sugar or fat. The system is helping us switch from sugar burning over to fat burning so that we can have a more normal system that understands sugar sometimes, fat sometimes. Yay, now we're healthy. But what's happening for most of us is that we're sugar all the time. And our body doesn't know how to utilize fat, and fat for fuel feels very different than sugar for fuel. But because we're also always inundated by sugar, our cells are shutting down to being able to use that energy. And now, even though we're eating more, we're depleted with energy. What a vicious cycle that we've been in, right? And we just want to stop that. Okay. So the system helps with all of that. Cortisol levels, yes. Even though this gives you energy, it's going to, and you're going to have a little bit of cortisol rise when you get energy, right? But what this is doing is helping regulate all this in your body so that that energy level isn't like this peak and drop. Like, I used to call it, like, throw me up against the wall and drop me to the floor kind of energy feeling. This is a very natural, gentle energy where that rises, and you're just gonna have the sense of well-being, and it comes back down slowly. There's a little bit of caffeine in the product, but there's also all of these other components in the product that help us regulate how that caffeine works in the body, so you don't have those crashes. And what happens is it shuts off all the food noise because you're getting energy to the cells, so, it does a lot of good in that way. Yeah, I did talk about fibroids the other day, and there is Cloney. There's about a 5-minute video on my page right now talking about fibroids and how insulin resistance is linked to them. And yes, I mean, they're saying that there needs to be more research. And what I want everyone to understand with insulin resistance is oftentimes you're going to find correlational information, and it's always going to be like, we need more research because insulin resistance, although we've known about it for years. I heard Dr. Bickman talking about how they were aware of insulin resistance years and years ago, but nobody really ever paid attention to it. So doctors were not educated about it. But insulin resistance as a study, as a science, as a focus is fairly new in the scientific world. So as they're starting to reach out and be like, okay, we know what causes weight gain. Okay, we know what causes this. We know what causes that. But what about fibroids? What about multiple sclerosis? What about ankylosing spondylitis? What about all these other things? How does it link? They're now doing the research on that. So what we found is that there is a link, and there are areas where insulin resistance is causing those fibroids to grow, but we need more information. What I can say is that the same system that I'm talking about with PCOS is the same system that can help with those fibroids. So I'm not going to promise you that it will help with the fibroids. What I'm going to tell you is that by addressing your insulin and reducing the environment within which those fibroids are growing, which is a lot of where the science is, you can help address fibroids. Now, I also had fibroids, and what did they called it? Middle schmerz. Okay. So there's a lot of things that are going on with women in our health, and they're all painful. Ladies, can you agree? Almost all of these things that happen down there for us, it's painful and it's embarrassing and it's debilitating and none of us want it. But how many of your doctors have told you that from vaginal infections, yeast infections, even bacterial infections, kidney problems, urinary tract problems, ovarian problems, polycystic ovarian syndrome, sex hormone problems, all of this is linked to insulin resistance? How many of you guys have ever been told that? Because that's what's going on with us, and that's why we're sick. So, that's why I'm here to understand that you really need to tell you you've heard others selling this. I don't sell, I educate. LJ, thank you. And I don't sell as much as other people because I really want you to understand what's happening. I don't just want to send you a product and say this is going to work. If my personality worked that way, it would, but it doesn't. And so I find more value. Look, you guys, let's talk about that. LJ, thank you so much. Because here's the thing. For me, it's like, yes, I want to have a good life. I want to provide for my family. I want to have financial freedom, right? I also want to really help other people. Now, some people are helping by selling because they're getting a number of people on there. I'm helping by helping people understand what's going on so that they can take the right steps to get better. And I appreciate those comments. Those mean so much to me, you guys. That means a lot. I would rather serve a smaller group and then build a team that can serve the bigger group than just feeling like I'm just selling, because that I couldn't get up every day if I was just selling. So thank you. Thank you. And that's why it's so important for me to find information, like explaining why all this happens so you guys can understand it and know better. So a couple of things that have bothered me over the years, you guys, since I started doing this. There are some ingredients in the products that I didn't understand, and I get questions about them. So let's talk about a couple of the questions that people may have with the product. I didn't figure with this, but so this is just helping. This is not just, this is helping you with energy, satiety. It's helping you with blood glucose and with cholesterol levels. It's helping your heart function more properly. And it's just helping you get you that mental clarity and feeling of well-being that you need to just even survive in all of this. So we're going to go over some of this in a minute. It's a tea that I have every morning. It's what's in this cup. See the lid? That's tea. And this drink that I have before I eat. Okay, why this drink? The 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers in here slow down the absorption of those carbohydrates and cholesterol so that I'm starting to become more insulin sensitive. You guys see me do this in the mornings a lot of times. I'm going to dump some more water. Because it also works. I'm not having any nausea this morning. Yay! That means that all the work I've been doing to strengthen up my heart is starting to work, because I'm not having that nagging nausea every morning that I was having. So yay for my heart getting better. Tea all over my finger. Guys, I put some matcha in my tea this morning, so it's really green. But and that's the great thing, you guys. With this tea, you can add stuff to it. Okay, this does not break a fast as long as you're not adding calories to this that are going to drop or elicit your insulin levels. You can add things. You can mix other bagged teas in with it. You can add cinnamon to it. I made my own chai spices, so there's no sugar in it. In the wintertime, now that it's going to be fall, I'll start doing this chai spice. It has a little different flavor because this has that lemony flavor in it. But that chai spice really changes it, but it doesn't. It actually helps my metabolism and not break the fast. You can do a number of things. I don't mind it like it is. We do have a matcha product. chai oka matcha ceremonial grade that I will mix with this in the morning for extra energy and metabolic function sometimes. But the tea is amazing. So yeah, you can mix stuff with it. As long as it's not adding a bunch of calories, you can do it and still be in a fasted state. But what I was going to do is mix up this fiber drink. So just tear the top off of these, right? And they're in this packet because this was designed so that you can do this now. I can get it in this bottle if you're traveling and you just have this available and you don't have your beautiful Unicity bottle. You can just pour it in there. Thank you, Unicity, for changing from this packaging to this so we could do that. And then I don't know where I put the lid. So you guys, I'm going to palm it. Oh, there's the lid. And I'm just going to shake this. That's it. That's the amount of times I'm going to shake it, and I'll drink it down. Now that is my fiber drink. Did I need to drink it this morning? No. Do I like to drink it? Because what's happening is this does not break my fast. This encourages my fast by doing this. It gives me prebiotics that my probiotics feed on. And when they do that, they create something called short chain fatty acids. In this chain of command, those short chain fatty acids go out and tell us, hey, we need to burn more fat for fuel. So it increases ketones. Now it's furthering my fast and not breaking it. So now I'm getting more into a fat burning state when I do this in the morning. I use the tea. I use the tea for energy every day, and just as a healthy drink. I want to talk about something too in a minute, but so I have the tea twice a day. I drink it in the morning, like right now, and in the afternoon when my energy starts to fade, I'll have another one. Or when I'm starting to feel breakthrough hunger, I'll have another one. You don't have to drink it quick, and you don't have to drink it slow. If you want to have this hot in the morning and have it within 10 to 15 minutes before work, do that. If you want to sip on it or your stomach is a little more sensitive, sip on it like I do. In the afternoon, I sip on another one and it takes me an hour to 2 hours to drink it. And in between, I'll just drink water. So that's the thing. And now what I wanted to talk about, what was triggering me, is I started to see some information from these people like Casey and Callie Means, and there's another one who's talking, but it actually came out of the UK. Okay, so this information came out of the UK, where it's been all over their news that Coca-Cola signed a 5-year deal with Google, and what they found is that there's nanotechnology in Coke. So, you guys, if you're looking for something that's healthy without all this weirdness going on, just drink the tea. It's adding to your health and not causing all of the other problems. One of the other things with even Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, which I was addicted to, and it's not the flavor, it's the carbonation. Carbonation is not really great for us in the first place, but when we look at those, whether you're drinking the full sugar one, which I never do, or you're drinking the lower sugar one, what's happening is there's a lot of salt in those sodiums. The sodium content is high. They've covered it up by adding a lot of sweetener. But that amount of sweet, even though it's not sugar causing glucose, tells your body that sugar is what we're burning. So it can spike your insulin anyway, because we're sending this message that sweet came in, insulin needs to go up. So even the diet ones can have an impact on our insulin. But that high amount of sodium combined with the high amount of sweet in those sodas creates a reality. I'm missing the right word, but it creates this space where we're just hungry and needing to eat more. That excess sodium tells us we're hungry more often, and so we eat more. We want to drink more of the soda, and the more soda we drink, the more we want to eat and snack. And now we're having insulin problems. You guys, soda was probably the hardest thing for me to give up. But if you're talking about inflammation, hunger, energy, you got to get off of the soda and the high sugar energy drinks. They're not doing you any good. Okay, so getting rid of those out of your system can really help. Now, let's talk about. Does anybody want to know about? I'm going to just talk about it anyway. So polysaccharides, right? there's this place on our nutritional label where it says there's polysaccharides in the balance. What are polysaccharides? Well, they're cellulose. They're a type of fiber, and those polysaccharides are part of the system that's giving us this fiber matrix. Bottom line, that's what they are. They're a strandy fiber. That's what polysaccharides in this case are. Okay, so when you look at that and you're like, I don't know what that means, I don't know what that is, it's just a type of fiber. So now when we have, then there's also this other one on our label that I've always been like, what is that? Because you guys, I'm smart, but I don't know everything, right? And I'm probably going to polycolcinol. I can never say that right. Anyway, that one is a component that's great for it's a derivative of sugar, but it's in a form that's not giving us the insulin spiking, and it's actually helping with cardiovascular health. So now we've included fibers, we've included stuff for cardiovascular health, and so it helps reduce this. I will go learn how to say the name right before we come on next time. Gen X Ginger, that's a cool name. Gen X Ginger. That's awesome. So we all know you're a redhead. Okay. So it helps reduce the low density lipoprotein that I talk so often about that's dysregulated with insulin resistance. So now we're getting a balance back to that LDL by this one component in balance. Okay. So it's not just the fibers, but there's specific ingredients in here that are helping with these things this doesn't have. Okay, this is why this is not the option. So it increases the high density, so it's decreasing low density lipoprotein and it's increasing high density lipoprotein. What an amazing thing to have. But it does more than that. It helps improve your circulation and blood flow by reducing platelet aggregation or the stickiness. So it's stopping you from having clotting issues, even if minutely. It's helping that blood be less sticky so that it's not causing clogs up in the system. That's all in the fiber drink that I just drank and tossed the packet. Okay, that's all in this, right? So the other thing is it has antioxidant properties in that polyconisol. You guys, I got to learn to say that word. And there's studies that show that that has antioxidant properties. If you heard me talk a little bit ago, I talked about how cells are getting inflamed and oxidated, and so they become protective and they don't let more energy in, so the damage doesn't continue. This is in a number of ways helping all of that go on in the body. So that's the couple of the weird words in the labels that you might not understand, because the other things like yerba mate and some of the by the way, like guar gum, beta glucans, all of these are like uh, fibers that will gel up. So gums are actually fibers. Okay. I want you to know that if you're reading the label, understand that gums are fibers. So when you see those words, know that you're getting specific types of fibers that have been proven to help reduce a blood sugar spike. That's why this reduces a blood sugar spike up to 37% and this 10%. Okay. What do I want to do? Do I want to spend money and get a 10% reduction in glucose? Do I want to have full protection and spend $5 a day to get 37% reduction in glucose? This is what I choose. Okay. So maltodextrin. How many of you guys have heard that maltodextrin is the devil to insulin resistance and you shouldn't have it? It's more dangerous than sugar, and it's going to spike your blood sugars, right? That it's going to create more insulin resistance. That maltodextrin is just like the devil. And I've heard that too, right? And there's a lot of science about how maltodextrin can be more damaging to your metabolic health than insulin or than glucose. So then I get people who look at the labels because they've heard these things and it says resistant maltodextrin on it. And they're like, but Misha, you said this is helping with insulin resistance and everybody's talking about how maltodextrin is the worst thing in the world for insulin resistance, and yet it's in your product. Why? Because there's different forms of maltodextrin. And what we're using is a form called resistant maltodextrin. That does not increase your insulin levels, and it does a lot of really good things for you. So the resistant maltodextrin is a fiber, and it helps you with So it's giving us more fiber without adding a lot of taste, okay? And it's helping up the fiber in there. We've got a number of different fibers, but the resistant maltodextrin is also in here, so you're getting a little bit of fiber, but it helps support digestive health by promoting regular bowel movements, and it can help blood sugar levels by slowing glucose absorption. That's resistant maltodextrin, not maltodextrin. So I appreciate that people are trying to learn because that's what we're here for, but understand there is a difference between some of these terms. And so if you're looking up a term, don't just get hung up on the one piece of it. Understand the entire term that's being used, because that resistant maltodextrin changes drastically what the word maltodextrin means. Now it goes from something that's damaging and eliciting insulin to something that's actually helping with insulin resistance. But the resistant maltodextrin is also working as one of those prebiotics to help to help feed the healthy probiotics. It's helping with weight management. I got tea on my finger. That's kind of gross. Um, And because it doesn't digest, it is a carbohydrate, but it's an undigestible carbohydrate. So it's not spiking again, it's not spiking the insulin, it's helping you keep that under control by reducing a blood sugar spike, by helping move that blood sugar through the system in a way that's more manageable to your body. That's the resistant maltodextrin that you'll see on the label. Now, I'm really happy when I look at our labels because they're pretty clean. You'll see some of this polycosanol, you'll see resistant maltodextrin, you'll see these guar gum and all this stuff. Those are all terms for things that are really good and not the negative form of them. The company really has their hand on the pulse of metabolic health, and they're very committed to metabolic health. So they're not going to be putting things in that are detrimental to your metabolic health. Okay. And we're constantly working on making the products better and better for you and your metabolic health. And that's what the bottom line of this is. If you're interested in the system, and if you, or even if you want to talk to me more about how it relates to PCOS, fibroids, I can't remember your name that asked about fibroids. I also have a blog, you guys. It's called Brilliant Health Blog. So I'm trying to give you guys information in a couple of different ways. We have these live streams. They're all housed on YouTube, so you can go back and watch them later. Or if you're somebody who just likes to read or wants to see that information, I'm a very visual person. Go to the blog because all the information and the citations are on the blog. So if you missed the talk about fibroids, then just go back and read the blog. Guys, I put way too much coconut oil in my hair last night. It's bugging me today. Which drink do I do twice a day? Okay, so Savvy Mom, you're getting 60 with the system. You're getting 60 of this drink, and it is a system, and you're getting 30 of this. So this is the one that you have twice a day. And this is the one you have before the meal with that's biggest with carbohydrates. There's been a lot more studies about fiber and insulin resistance. And so we can go into some of that and I can explain why we do that. But this is helping you stay satiated, stay energetic, get energy into your systems. It helps with that serotonin and dopamine uptake in the brain by helping the brain get the cues it needs. This is doing a lot of good. Antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, anti-cancer properties in this. Heart healthy, although it's giving you energy, it's been proven to be heart healthy. This is simply stevia. And I've been wrong. I'm going to say I've been wrong. It has a little bit of citric acid in this, and then the yerba mate leaves. What time of day do I do the second drink? When I finish this one. So you guys, I will probably be done with this one by about 11. I'll continue to sip on it all morning. About 11, I'll be done with this one. I'll just go mix up another one. And then I start drinking it whenever. So the cool thing is these are foods. You get to adjust this to your lifestyle. No, two yellow and one orange. So the yellow one you drink in the morning when you're fasted. That's going to help shut down that food noise. It's going to help shut down your hunger so that you're not focused on, oh my God, I can't eat. And then you break your diet, right? This is helping get energy in a real way to your system that you're going to notice it feels very different. So this starts my morning every day. So I'm starting my morning with mental clarity. I'm starting my morning with gentle energy. I'm starting my morning with better physical performance. I'm starting my morning knowing that I've just given my body antioxidants and anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory properties. Now I don't have to worry about my feet swelling up all day because I've got my insulin resistance under control and I'm giving myself anti-inflammatories. So those feet that were so swollen, I couldn't get my feet in the shoes. This has stopped that. So just go to my profile link and tap on my profile up above. When the white box comes up below, tap on that again, and you'll get to my profile link. So also, if you look here, I don't know why the ticker's not running. It's supposed to be, but there's my phone number right there. You can also just text me and I can get you the link directly if you have problems getting to my profile. I'm not going to hound you. I'll just get you the information you need and have the conversation you need to have, but that's that. So you just go to my profile here on TikTok, and then right under the red light symbols, there will be a link, and that's going to show you where to buy. Okay. And it's important, you guys, don't go on Amazon, eBay, Walmart. I say this every morning because those sellers are not authorized. You're not getting any of the guarantees. You're not getting any of the coaching. You're not getting any of that. If you want the guarantees, if you want to know that you're even getting the right products, if you want to know that they've been tested and all that, you got to buy from the company because there's a lot of fakers out there. I dealt with it when I did. Because I used to do design. I used to do ski wear design. And I worked for a couple of ski wear companies. And I went to trade shows and I watched all of these from other countries come in, and they would actually try to take measurements, and they're taking pictures and they're like noting everything so they could knock off what you do. Or better yet, they'll just go buy one. If they really like it, they'll just go buy one and they'll recreate it. And they can even craft labels that look the same. We see it all the time. Anyway, buy from a reputable source. Just get it from that link up there, and you'll get it at the same price I get it at. And then you'll get to talk to me as well. So I don't know why. I think that this is my second year being here in the fall, and I've been having really matted eyes. I think there's some allergens out in the air that my body's not used to because I'm a West Coast girl on the East Coast. All right. So all of the components in the system are there for a reason, and they're there to help you build health. That's what I want to talk about. I do want to show this picture because this is a lovely lady, so it's not just me. So hopefully her picture shows up here. There she is. Okay. So this lovely lady, this is what can happen when you start to address insulin resistance. So she was uncomfortable in her body, and she's actually smaller than the picture in the blue now, and her anxiety is better, a number of the issues she was suffering from. So it's not just about the obesity, you guys, it's about getting control of life and feeling better all the way around. This is the change it made for her, and it changed her life. Now, on top of the fact that she had insulin resistance, she's a smoker and she has a number of other issues that would make her even more likely to be insulin resistant. And that's important to know so that you can understand that this can work. We can still address your metabolism, even if you're smoking, even if you're doing those other things. Would I encourage you to stop? Yes. Do I expect everyone to stop? Nope, nope, nope. My daddy was a smoker. And one thing I know is the more I hounded him to quit smoking, the more determined he was to just do what he wanted. So I'm not ever going to, we all know what's healthy for us and what's not. All right, enough of that. Okay, so the system, you guys, it really does change your health. Again, you're shutting down food noise, you're getting energy to the cells. The important part is that you're not just getting caffeine that's rising your cortisol, that's getting that sympathetic nervous system to kick in, that's giving you that false sense of energy that you're going to crash from. This is getting energy into your cells. So now you have real energy in the body, not what I'm going to call false energy by a cortisol spike. And that's the difference between this. You can't seem to find what's in it. Mama Wolf, let's take a look. Let's just, if I can find that page. Hang on, you guys. Okay. So let's pull this over and let's take a look. So this is, and I'll just flip this. Oh, it's not showing up over on Facebook and YouTube, but this is the nutritional panel for the balance in the mixed berry. We now have 2 different flavors. So this is giving you the list of all of the components in it. And I'm not sure what it is that you're looking for. So it's 7 different soluble and unsoluble fibers. It's phytosterols. It's things that are supporting your metabolism, vitamins and minerals, but it's not medication. It's real food. It's gluten-free. It's halal. Oh my gosh. TikTok hates when I do this. Like this is my content, but they're anyway. So let's just do this. I'm going to share it over here. So if you guys have to go over to YouTube, you can find this later. Let's just get this done. Okay, so um, these are the nutritional panels. And just so you can see, and all you have to do when you go to my link, if you go to the page, click on the picture of what you want to order, and it's going to bring up a whole PDF. You can go to my website and read more about the products. The whole PDF that is there on the Unicity website is found on my website if you don't want to click the buy now button just yet. But just check that out. So that's the balance. That's all the ingredients. That's the orange balance ingredients. And this is the tea. So citric acid, natural flavors, a little bit of sodium gluconate, stevia, leaf extract, and yerba mate is all that's in here. So that's it. You guys, it's all listed right there. You guys can find that if you so choose. And I'm not sure if something in this triggers TikTok or if it's actually someone saying that, because it happens every once in a while and it's just frustrating when I'm trying to get information and answer questions and something like that happens that just says, okay, we're going to restrict you now because it's unoriginal content on TikTok. Okay, so that's that, you guys. This is how I lost 55 pounds, got rid of my brain fog, got rid of my anxiety, got rid of my depression, got rid of some extra weight, got rid of joint problems, got rid of sleep apnea and a majority of my allergy problems, got my skin looking better, got me feeling better. All of these things happened when I addressed insulin resistance, and all I did was this simple protocol. Now, Crafty is struggling because her mom has a lot of things. And Crafty, I have to go back and read some of your notes. What I do want to say is, with all the love in my heart, Crafty, you have to make some choices, okay? Nobody can give you answers for yourself. And we've come to a point now where, like, if your mom really trusts your doctor and you want to battle that end, then that's where you're going to be at. If you want to find a doctor who understands this more and encourage your mom to go there, either way, it's going to take some work for you. But you have to decide what you want to do and how you're going to help your mom. You can't force her to do anything. You love her, you want to help her, but like, I love my mom. I know that she needs the system. She has an aversion to drinks. She'll drink all the high sugar stuff in the world. If you say tea to her, she'll be like, ugh. She won't do it because she doesn't like drinks. Okay. Um, and I can't force her. So I have to watch her suffer because she's an adult. She gets to make her choice. And we all want to help our families as much as possible. So we want to recommend, we want to encourage, we want to do all that. But at some point, it is your mom's battle, not yours. And if she doesn't want to hear what you have to say, then that's a whole other thing that you have to start to take into consideration. You have to at some point know you've done the best you can, and you have to just come to terms with whatever that's going to look like for you, whether you get her to a new doctor, whether you continue to encourage her, whether all of that stuff. The only people that can change that are you and your mom. So yeah, the doctor situation I can't help with. That's I really can't. And if your mom is dead set on that doctor, there's not much you're going to be able to do about it either. Okay, so all right, any other questions about the system, how it works, why it's doing so much for people? You guys, what it really does is it helps with blood sugar regulation, it helps with inflammation, it helps with the food noise that's keeping us hungry and in this insulin state all the time. Okay, so the system, if you're interested in ordering it, if you want to have coaching, LJ, let's talk today. I know I have some meetings this afternoon, but if you'll give me a little bit this morning or just text me a time when it's good to talk to you, LJ, I'd love to talk to you and make sure you guys, this is one of the things I do. Some people never want to talk to me. I'm kind of that person. I'm like, just give me the stuff. I'm smart. I can read it. I can do it on my own. And I don't really talk to a lot of people about stuff. Some people want to talk about it and understand it better. I'm sometimes that person too. But one of the things I do is I help you by helping you understand how to do the system. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, but I can give you the knowledge that I have and let you make your own choices as far as some of the things like maybe you're not getting in enough protein. Maybe there's something hidden in what you're doing that could be causing problems with insulin resistance. And we can talk about that and see if we can work out what works best for you. But whether you want to talk to me or you don't, I'm here. If you buy from me, I'm here and we get to have those conversations. By the way, I like having them. So let me know. And the link is in my profile. Just use that link. Let's take a look too. Let's just bring that up. So when we look at my profile, if you get to my profile on TikTok, I should share that over here with you guys. It's going to look different from everybody on Facebook and YouTube. So you'll just want to either text me or go to the links on the Facebook and YouTube channels because there are links there for how to get to me. But this is my TikTok. So if you get here and you see my picture with the red glasses, I had my hair all dyed up. I probably should redo that picture. There's the link right there. Okay, you click on that link. It's going to get you to my landing page, which then has all of this information. You can order the system that I use right here. Okay. There's a cleanse. I'll probably take that one down today. I do the cleanse. I really want people to focus on the protocol because that's what's changing your health. If you're having problems, I recommend a cleanse. We can talk about that. Look, you can get a hold of me on WhatsApp and have a conversation. I had a conversation with a lovely lady from Romania the other day on WhatsApp about what's going on with her health and will this help her and how does she get it, all of that stuff. There's my website where you can go and find more information about, if you want to know about who am I and what's my story. There's my pictures. You can go here and read about some of the stuff that was happening with me. You can order the system. You can even find out more about the system. At the very top there's this Feel Great tab, and now all of the information on how to do the system, all of that is right here. Just use that link. Okay, so that's where you're going to get it, in my link in the profile here on TikTok. The blog that I talk about that has all this information, I already have an article on PCOS, but I've added some information today, so I'm going to be doing a new blog post. But you can't see it. But this is my blog, you guys. The newest posts I have are always going to be listed up here at the top. So go here, check out the blog posts, and start to, boy, I didn't change the name of that. I thought I did. But the blog post on the fibroids, for the person asking about fibroids, is all here. So you can, like this fibroid one, you can go in here. There's going to be citations. We're going to talk about this is GLP-1. Oh, I got to fix my blog now. But anyway, you guys get the idea. There's blog posts there. Boy. And if you're interested in doing the business, you guys, if you're interested in what I do, how I get up and work from home every day, how I help people every day with their health, you guys don't have to be a teacher like me. You just need to get the word out. If you're interested in changing your life in that way, I am looking to expand and build my team even more. I took a year off from doing that, but just come here. It explains what I do, how I do it. All of that information is in my link in the bio here on YouTube or on TikTok. Sorry about that. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Let me get the link in over here on YouTube so you guys can know where to order as well. Let me just get this typed in here. So the link that I was just showing everybody on TikTok is now showing up in the chat over on YouTube, Facebook. Okay, guys, I am going to go. get my day going. I'm getting ready to move with my son, and so I've got his house under order. Now I'm getting my house in order and trying to do this business and helping people along the way. So I love you. I appreciate you. You guys, thank you so much. The amazing comments. Hey, Della the fella. The amazing comments you guys have given me and the support you give me here, the encouragement, you guys have no idea how much that means to me and my ability to get up and do this every day. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the positivity, love, and trust that you guys give me. It means more than you'll ever know. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay.